Good morning and welcome to Market Opening on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. Just after 9 a.m. and we're here to get you ahead of the curve as markets kick off trading for the day. Let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and financial space this morning. The AI and tech-fueled rally is losing steam in the U.S. stock markets. All three Wall Street indices fall for a second day. Investors also wary as the Trump administration launches probes into imports of robotics, industrial machinery and medical devices. South Korea says major investments in the U.S. on hold until visa issues are resolved. The U.S. acknowledges turbulence in ties with India but stresses that the relationship remains on a positive trajectory. A State Department official confirms that Washington continues to call India a vital strategic partner. But mixed signals from tariffs to policy criticisms, with the U.S. president blowing hot and cold, all adding uncertainty for investors and exporters. The Reserve Bank of India said immediate impact of the 50% U.S. tariff hike on Indian goods may be limited and sector-specific. Nearly 45% of India's exports to the U.S. are exempt from such duties, providing some cushion to exporters. RBI noted that the broader impact on India's trade outlook will depend on how global demand and supply chains adjust. GST rate cuts to deliver a sustained boost to the economy, making business easier and lowering retail prices to support consumption growth, says the RBI. The central bank also says the growth outlook for October to March is optimistic, with higher investments and stronger demand. Healthy corporate balance sheets and steady August activity data further strengthen the positive narrative for India's economy. And there could be more good news for those buying insurance soon. Regulator IRDAI flags high insurance commissions, asks insurers to cut these commissions and distribution costs. Reports say IRDAI will form a panel to explore ways to reduce costs, even as it explores mutual fund-style cap on commissions. All right, let's take a look at the market setup first. We've also got my colleague Shailendra Bhatnagar joining us, Chief Analyst and Editor Markets at Business Today. Let's pull up those global indices. First, we've got S&P, Nasdaq, Dow taking a bit of a breather, second day in a row after all the action in AI, some amount of profit booking coming in there. So the Wall Street setup overnight quiet. Asia this morning a little mixed, but still in the green at this point of time. What are we anticipating on the Nifty? We've seen a couple of sessions of quiet trade, but a lot of activity in certain pockets of the broader markets. Shail, good morning. What's the setup looking like this Thursday?
Four days of consistent selling pressure in which the Nifty has given back about 400, 450 points to the market after rallying about 1,000 points. We see some sanity coming in. 25,000 will be tested today. This is an intraday low which should be bought into as far as Nifty is concerned, and then we'll resume our upward climb. PSU banks look super good. SBI is at a 20-month high as far as markets are concerned. The PSU banking index is at its highest since June 24, and this is what is driving traders, investors. Deep value in the PSU banking sector versus almost full value in the private banking universe. Auto stocks continue to hog the limelight. Again, we'll see auto ancillaries sparking up. So these are the two sectors that are on my radar as far as gains are concerned. PSU banks, in particular Canara, BOB and PNB, both of them have added between 10 and 18% in September so far. This rally is most likely to continue. Aabha.
Okay, talking about PSU banks, and let me welcome in Rajesh Palvia, who's Head of Technical and Derivative Research at Axis Securities. Rajesh, good morning. Okay, we'll go back across to Rajesh in a moment, but just to touch base on why we also saw some of that action on PSU banks yesterday, there was talk of perhaps increasing those FI holding limits, and were that to happen, of course, that would be a huge boost. So we did see a lot of action across some of those PSU names in trade yesterday. Let's also take a look at some of the other stocks in news that we're tracking for you this morning. There are a whole host of names, in fact, in the pharma pack, which are also grabbing headlines. Glenmark Pharma entering a $1.1 billion agreement with Hengrui for an oncology drug. That's Glenmark in the news for you. Lupin has gotten an FDA nod for an HIV drug, which will be manufactured in its Nagpur unit. So Lupin also in the news and up in pre-market. Ipca Labs, the company, and a Biosimilar Sciences have signed a tech transfer and joint development agreement. So Ipca is also currently in the news. Torrent Pharma, they've issued a 200 crore rupee commercial paper. So keep an eye on Torrent as well. Let's pull that up and see what's happening to it. In pre-open right now, pretty flat. Few brokerage views also coming in. We've got HSBC on the consumer sector, of course, looking at it favorably, but they're looking at a 5% EPS impact on a Britannia, on a Nestle. They've upgraded both of those counters with the target price on Britannia to 6,140 and on Nestle to 1,270. They also have a preferred call on a Marico and Godrej Consumer as well. So buy calls coming in there across and holds on Britannia and Nestle. Shell, what are you picking up on the charts on some of these FMCG majors? Are we topping out, let's say, on some of the key names like a Britannia or a Nestle? Is there more scope in some of the others in the FMCG pack?
Aabha, forever, as far as the last 25 years, 30 years are concerned, FMCG basket has never been on the top radar of either fund managers, equity strategists or traders because it's more than generously valued. So what you have is some kind of a minor dip that comes into these stocks and then they are purchased back. In terms of valuations, they remain very, very expensive, and this is not something that is of the interest as far as traders or investors are concerned. You won't believe, but ITC is trading below 200-day DMA, and if you look at how the performance has been as far as gainers are concerned, it's Tata Consumer up about 7.5%. Only liquor stocks are doing very well. Radico Khaitan in particular has been an outperformer as far as markets are concerned. This year up about 14%. But Britannia, Tata Consumer are the two stocks that can be looked at because of the GST cut that has happened. Nothing of interest for traders or investors here.
All right, great. Shell, thanks for putting that into perspective for us. Rajesh also now joining us. Rajesh, we're counting down to open now. Wanted to get your view on the Nifty and really how things stand. It is Thursday as well. On the expiry front, just take us through what's anticipated.
Good morning, Aabha. Good morning, everyone. So, looking at the setup, market is in corrective mode. We have almost seen around 800 to 900 point rally in the Nifty from the recent low. But since last couple of days, there is corrective move is happening in the market, and now Nifty is again back to the important support area of 25,000, which is coincide with all its near-term, short-term moving averages. So 25,000 is very important to watch for next couple of days. If we able to hold out these levels, some pullback action cannot be ruled out from this level, as we have already witnessed, some oversold trajectory for near-term structure for Nifty. So I think 25,000 needs to watch. If it's hold some pullback towards 25,150, 25,250, we may see in the near-term perspective. If it breaks below 25,000, then we may see some liquidation of position, as major put-based concentration is placed at 25,000 level. So below 25,000, some serious selling may emerge in market. But on the other hand, Bank Nifty is showing resilience, and I think here structure is looking more promising compared to the Nifty. And almost we are trading near to the important support area of 55,000 level. So if it's able to defend this level, we may see some buying action to emerge in banking stocks, especially in PSU. Banking basket is looking more promising. So I think Bank Nifty is looking more interesting compared to Nifty, but stock specific action is still there in market. So I think opportunities are there on stocks front as well as on the sectors front.
Great. On the PSU banks, Rajesh, any particular names top of your mind? Because clearly a lot of action building up there. We've had a lot of news flow on those PSU banking names.
Yeah, so Abha, Canara Bank is looking
Okay.
very attractive. The way stock managed to give breakout on the weekly chart. This is the fourth consecutive week where stock is making higher high-low formation, which is a sign of sustained buying action is taking place in this counter. So I think Canara Bank can be looked at. We are projecting target of 128 to 132. On the downside, 116 needs to keep as a stop loss, as well as Indian Bank and Bank of India. These three banks are looking promising from the PSU banking basket. So I think one can focus on these stocks.
Okay, great. Let's pull up the opening bell for you. Just a marginal downtick, 25,000. Remember, that's the level to watch out for. This is really, how we're placed on opening as expected. A little quiet with a little bit of selling pressure coming in, and similarly for the Nifty Bank. But PSU banks, that's really where a lot of the interest has been. Let's pull up that index, just about flat right now as well. But let's pull up some of the key names within the PSU banking sector as well and see if there's any individual stock action. Let's pull up a Canara, let's pull up an SBI. And see what's happening there today. Okay, so it's some amount of profit booking coming in across the board, really. Let's also pull up some of those newsmakers. Let's see if there's continued momentum on auto, on steel, like we saw perhaps earlier in the week, and if whether or not we're seeing anything there. Pharma a little bit in focus today, so of course a little bit of an uptick coming in on pharma names. We've got a few newsmakers there from Glenmark to Lupin. Auto's also taking a little bit of a breather right now, so clearly some amount of profit booking there as well. Some uptick on metals. So we've got some green on pharma, some green on metals right now. That's really a couple of pockets that we're tracking. Shell, I'm going to come across to you to see what the advanced decline is looking like and where are some of the other pockets of green in today's market.
Well, Aabha, I think it's a back foot start as far as Dalal Street is concerned. Just about 1,000 shares in the green, 1,100 in the red. The Nifty Metals Index is the top gainer. And that's because a force majeure has been declared in Indonesia's top copper mine. And that's the reason why you see Hindustan Copper in the top traded list, up 3% at about 317. So that has to be kept in mind. Otherwise, it's a dull start. There will be a test of 25,000 during the day as far as Nifty is concerned. Maybe 24,950, maybe 24,925 is where it will rest and then maybe bounce back on an intraday basis. In terms of all-time highs, where is just Amber Enterprises, again a maker of air conditioners and other such equipment that goes into OEMs. In terms of volume buzzers, you have NIACL from the insurance space, Newgen Software from the mid-cap IT space, and of course, as you mentioned, lots of pharma companies. Glenmark 1% higher, Lupin 1.3% higher. This is the state of play in the market so far. A quiet opening.
Okay. Great. Well, Newgen also in the news. Its UK arm has inked a 4.2 million euro deal with TCS Belgium. So that's Newgen Software for you. Let's pull that up for you on your screen as well. So that's why we're seeing that stock running up in trade. Talking about copper as well, I want to just bring up, while we're seeing some amount of profit booking, copper is actually looking really good right now. Profit booking coming in gold and silver after a good run up. But copper on the back of that news as well, actually trending higher right now, and that's why you're seeing somewhat of action on Hindustan Copper too, as Shell also just mentioned. So those are a couple of areas that we're tracking right now on the back of news. But let's go across to Rajesh as well on really, where he feels valuations are looking attractive right now in this market. Rajesh, let's get some of your preferred picks in the market right now.
So I think looking at the volatility and global headwinds, which is disturbing the market sentiment, I think one should remain in the domestic consumption related theme, and I think here we may see traction to continue further. So I think stocks from the FMCG baskets are looking attractive at this juncture. I think some of the stocks have already shown buying interest in the previous day also. So I think Marico and Dabur from FMCG basket one can look at. To buy Marico, I think one can keep stop loss towards 700, and on the higher side 725 to 730 would be the target on the higher side. Again, Hutco is also looking promising the way stock has moved up in last couple of weeks. I think we may see traction in Hutco towards this expiry. and possible target towards 240 to 245 we can see in the near term perspective. So this stock is also looking promising. On the downside, one needs to keep stop loss towards 226. And again, after today's opening, I think again railway stocks are showing sign of buying interest. So most of the stock have corrected in last couple of days, but again taking the support from their important support area. So I think RVNL, these stocks can be looked at. It's again trading near to 50-day moving average support area. So some pullback action we may see in RVNL also from these level. So 365 to 370 would be the target. On the downside, 345 needs to keep as a stop loss. As I mentioned in my opening commentary, I think banking and NBFC would be the another pack where we could see good traction. So I think stock from NBFC, Bajaj Finance, one can focus on this stock also. Outperformance is there in this series. So here also we may see traction towards 1040 to 1050. On the downside, 1000 needs to keep as a stop loss.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Rajesh. Shail, Bajaj Finance is something that you also highlighted as a top performer earlier this week. And, along with that, Rajesh just talked about some rail counters. We've also seen movement on some shipping counters, some buzz about a maritime development fund that could be being looked at. But there are,
Yes.
some of these other smaller themes in the market as well. Which one do you feel like talking about right now this morning?
I think Aabha, Adani Power is something that traders like, investors like, and of course it has a major tailwind in the form of a stock split, which has made the stock relatively inexpensive in the eyes of retailers, as also the fact this SEBI clean sheet on Hindenburg has opened up doors. You remember you had marked a $250 million transaction on Adani Power about a week back. And the stock is in full flow today, 4.5% higher, and it's the top traded counter. Already about 2.3 crore shares have been traded in the first 5-7 minutes of trade. And it's the PSU basket, as I've been pointing out for many days, that's doing pretty well. The three shipbuilders, Garden Reach up 2.83%, Cochin Shipbuilders 2% higher, and of course Mazgaon about 1% higher. Shipping Corporation, as you mentioned, as far as that 70,000 crore rupees spending is concerned by the government of India to boost shipbuilding.
Yeah.
So these are the stocks that are buzzing in early trade. Aabha.
All right. Well, let's pull up some viewer queries for you as well. We like to try and take a couple of them during the show if possible. Prisha Singh has written in from Pune. She says she wants to invest to benefit from the GST rate cut theme. Which sectors will have the most potential? Rajesh, we've kind of touched upon this in terms of the FMCG, and you talked about Marico, for instance. But are there other names in the wider basket that you would also look at, from this point of view in terms of benefiting from the reform agenda?
So I think GST reform would definitely going to give a boost in the economy, as consumer will get more benefit of rate cut. So I think automobile is a clear theme where we have seen good traction in terms of stock prices. So from two-wheeler space, I think one can focus on Hero Motor as well as Bajaj Auto. These two stocks are looking attractive, though there was some corrective move is happening, but if you are looking for a little, medium term to long term perspective, I think Hero Motor is looking attractive. In the decline, you can buy and accumulate. On the downside, 5,050 needs to keep as a stop loss. But I think going forward, we believe that this stock has potential for upside target of 5,800, even 6,000 going forward. So automobile is one theme where one can focus. And again, FMCG basket, as I've already mentioned. So here also there is an opportunity.
Shail, I know we love talking about auto, so and I know we've been talking about, I think it was Aisha last week, it was Hyundai this week, so there's no escaping it. Let's highlight some of those movers then, from the auto pack as well.
Aabha, I think it's going to be Hyundai, 50% higher on a year-to-date basis, and this is a large cap stock with a market capitalization about 2.5 lakh crores. The same thread that we have been discussing, GST rejig, and the best day that Hyundai had was in the last 5 years on the first Navratra. 11,000 units sold. We are going to end the second half in September 30th, which is the quarterly sales for September, August, and July. And you are going to see a blowout. Before that blowout happens in terms of numbers, the stock has already run up to a fresh record high, 2728, and Hyundai is not alone. It's followed by Maruti, above 16,000. It's followed by Eicher Motors, TVS Motors, in particular, both of them at record highs. So it's one of the best plays that we've had since 15th of August when the rejig was announced. There is more traction in all top-end auto stocks for the remainder of H2, Aabha.
All right, keeping an eye on those. We have time to just squeeze in one more question. Ratan Shukla from Varanasi asking if you should invest in gold stocks or physical gold this Diwali. Rajesh, Shell, who should I come to on this? Rajesh, what's your view on some of those gold-related counters?
So I think looking at the rally in gold in last couple of months, gold finance companies are clearly showing sign of strength. So I think stock from gold finance company Manappuram and Muthoot Finance both are looking very attractive, and we have seen good traction in terms of buying. So Manappuram can be looked at as stock is available near to its support area of 20-day moving average. So I think 280 to 285 is the zone where stock should find again support. And on the higher side, once stock crosses about 295, I think we may see upward target towards 295 to 300 kind of zone also. So Manappuram as well as Muthoot Finance, both stocks are looking attractive. From jewelry segment, I think one can focus on stock like Titan. Again, we have witnessed some corrective move, and it's a wealth creator stock, and now it's available at very attractive level of 3,390 kind of zone. So I think another 1%, 2% dip is should be used as a buying opportunity in this counter. On the downside, 3,300 needs to keep as a stop loss. So this stock is also available at attractive price point. So Titan is another stock from the jewelry space.
All right, continuing to look attractive there. Rajesh, thanks for joining us. Shell, also thanks for sharing your views with us as always. Now, strong words from the U.S. Energy Secretary on India's continued imports of discounted Russian oil. Chris Wright says India must reconsider its choices. Listen in.
Well, there's lots of oil exporters in the world. India doesn't need to buy Russian oil, right? India buys Russian oil because they can buy it for cheaper. Because nobody wants to buy Russian oil, so they have to sell it at a discount. India has decided to make the trade-off to buy cheaper oil and sort of look the other way, that's giving money to a guy who's murdering thousands of people every week. So, yeah, of course, we wish India would work with us to buy this. You can buy oil from every nation on the earth, just not Russian oil. That's our position. America has oil to sell, but so does everybody else. We don't want to punish India. We want to end the war, and we want to grow our relations with India.
That concludes.
All right, keep an eye on a couple of other movers in the broader markets. We've got Inox Green at upper circuit. I just want to pull that up for you just as we wind up. And defense stocks also are buzzing this morning. We already talked about some of those shipping stocks on the back of possible reforms. But Inox Green, that's another buzzer for you on your screen. We're completely out of time on the show. In case you also have questions about investments, mutual fund, SIPs, or stocks, or gold-related queries, do send them to us on the number on your screen, and we will try and take them on the show. Thanks so much for watching.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
Hello, Moto. Do the Moto.